Hi friends, Lorelei Black here from Blade Broom, and happy spring. I know I'm about a week late on wishing you a happy spring, but it's still spring, so happy spring. We are actually going to be talking today about spring cleaning, ideas that can actually be translated pretty directly into fall cleaning as well. So if you're interested in that, stick around. So what we're going to get into today is the idea of cleaning and cleansing your space, both on a physical level and on an energetic level, and how both spring and fall, as these sort of transitional seasons, are a really great time to do that deep cleaning on both a physical plane and also on the sort of energetic, spiritual planes as well. So because the fall and the spring are transitions between the winter and the summer, they end up being really great times for us to do this. And we tend to, culturally, we tend to think of spring as a time for deep cleaning, spring cleaning. But fall works just as well. So regardless of what hemisphere you're in, this content is timely for you. Both fall and spring tend to be times when we throw open our windows. We're not relying on forced air or forced heat within the home to be able to get the temperature just right. And that breeze through the windows and the sort of breeziness of both of those times of year are part of that change and that transition and that cleaning out that naturally tends to happen and that we as humans have felt and picked up on for ages and dive into. And if you're interested, I actually have a couple of Book of Shadows pages that are part of my Hearth Magic set over at the Blade Broom Etsy shop that are directly related to this, and we'll have some other ideas on them as well. So I think in general, a lot of us don't really approach our daily chores and housework and even those sort of semi-annual or annual tasks as being inherently magical. But if you look into the folklore of both the tools that we use for cleaning and also of the process of cleaning itself, there is a lot of folklore and folk magic that's associated with it, which is one of the reasons why anytime you're running your vacuum or anytime you're sweeping or dusting or washing your windows, you can be thinking and imbuing that act with magical intent. You can tie that back into and be thinking of the folk magic and folk practice that is a part of your inheritance. These concepts actually, a lot of them in general, like the big picture of cleaning is magic, transcends cultures. We see it in every part of the world because we have known that a cleaner home is a healthier home and that we don't get sick as often if we're in a cleaner environment. And there's all kinds of things, both respiratory issues, digestive issues, and then psychological, emotional well-being kinds of issues that go along with having a clean and tidy space. It's because of that, and the fact that clean equals healthier, at least, healthier, that the idea of getting rid of negative energy, getting rid of baneful spirits is tied to the act of cleaning. And then blessing is also imbued within certain tasks that we do. And really, I think it's important anytime you're doing any kind of cleansing or cleaning to be thinking of it in that sort of twofold process where you're not just getting rid of the negative, but you're actively inviting positive in. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so if you just get rid of the sort of trauma and negativity, tension that might be building up in your household, the depression, the anxiety, that kind of thing. If you just get rid of those things, but then don't actively invite in and work toward more supportive, healthful, positive ideas, then you're just leaving the door open for all of that gunk to come right back to you. So one way that you can bring in and get rid of the types of energies that you want to bring in or get rid of is to think about the physical act of cleaning as being that magical process and imbuing that with your own energy. You know, see it not just as a grind that you have to do, but as something that you are actively participating in for your betterment and for your energetic well-being, in order to eliminate harm, accident, injury, negative interactions in the home, you know, fights and squabbling with the people that you live with, whoever they are, whether that's your family or roommates or some combination, and all of that type of thing, to see that getting wiped away, getting swept away, getting scoured out. You can also go to the step of either making your own household cleaning products, which might be a little more DIY than some of you are really interested in, or just adding essential oils to the things that you use. You'll want to do a little bit of research to figure out which ones you want for your situation and which ones won't interact in a funny way with the chemicals in your cleaning products. But some simple things that you can do are to like wash your windows, clean your windows with white vinegar and a little bit of essential oil in there, maybe a lemon or rosemary. Both of those are very associated with cleansing. Lemon and citrusy things especially are really great for brightening the wind's eye, which is what the word window comes from. It's the winds, it is an eye to the winds in our home. So to brighten those eyes, you could add things like eye bright, lemon, that type of thing to sort of clean it up more on an energetic level and give it that brightness and that shine and welcome the light into your home on an energetic plane. You can also grind up your own botanicals or buy pre-powdered things like lavender, frankincense, thyme, these kinds of herbs that have long been associated with cleansing on a deep level and also very much on a physical level, and also with blessing. Another step that you could do for the blessing parts of post cleaning, so anytime you clean, to bring in a little bit more blessing, is you can actively think of lighting candles and using things that you would use to sweeten the air, like whether that's incense or an air freshener of some kind. In one regard, they're working on the same principle, right? Is to make the air more pleasant and sweet. And that is an act of blessing. It stems from blessing rituals in which sweet smokes were used to not just to purify a space, but to actively bring in the blessing of particular deities and spirits. While you're working on the cleaning, you can think of counterclockwise motions being ones that are getting rid of energies, and clockwise motions being ones that are bringing them in. So you can very much do this sort of wax on, wax off as a further step to imbue your work with the intention that you're trying to set. So counterclockwise motions and directions, like maybe you start in one part of your house and work counterclockwise around it to physically clean the space and to do that deep energetic cleansing. But then as you're lighting your candles and your incense or using your other air sweeteners, whether that's sachets or whatever you might use, go in a clockwise motion and work with that. Hi friends! I just wanted to slide in really fast to say if you are enjoying the content that you're finding here, and I really hope that you are, click subscribe, ding the bell for notifications, and just support the channel in that way. Leave comments, do all that stuff. I love to interact and engage with you all. And yeah, that's all the standard YouTube reminders. Bye. Moving on. There's a lot of magical lore associated with the broom, and we have talked about the broom, and we will talk more about the broom as a transvective device, a tool that you use to get from this realm to other realms, but it's also very intrinsically a cleaning device that we use to sweep out the negative and to clear a space. But one of the things that folklore says you don't want to do is that you don't want to sweep toward the door of your home, and I'm like pointing at my door. You don't want to sweep toward the door, you want to sweep toward the hearth. And the reason for that is that some of what has settled and is in the dust on the floor, in the debris on the floor, is your good luck. It's your household's luck. And that's going to include things like love and good communication and prosperity and all of that type of thing. It's all very attached to that, and you don't want to sweep, you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater in this one. You don't want to sweep that out and away from yourself, because it's basically like saying, I don't need you. So sweep it toward your hearth. I think in a modern home, the hearth really isn't a fireplace anymore, even though we still call that the hearth. Energetically and ritualistically speaking, all of the things that were done at the hearth are now taken over by two devices. The cooker, or the stove and oven combo in your kitchen, that's taking care of all of the sustenance and comfort types of aspects that were part of the hearth, the fireplace. And then it's going to be the furnace as well, which is the thing that's actually heating most homes. So obviously if you have a wood burning stove or you're using some alternate type of heating source, then you know what that is in your home and can make accommodations and alterations to what I'm suggesting for that. But contemporarily, it's safe to say that even if you have a lovely, beautiful fireplace in your home, you're not using that as a place to routinely cook, and you're not relying on it typically as your heat source. So it does not have, the fireplace does not have the qualities that were attributed to Hestia, for instance, whose name in Greek means hearth. That all of those things that are associated with her and with deities like her are now attributed to these other devices. And we can treat those other devices still as the seat of the fire god or the fire goddess in our home, the fire spirit in our home, who is helping us to make sure that we're able to sustain ourselves and to have that layer of warmth and protection that's going to keep us safe during inclement weather, but also provide us comfort. So sweep toward that. Sweep toward your stove. Generally speaking, you know, bring that toward that. You're still getting rid of the actual dirt and debris. You know, it's not like you're going to sweep it under your stove and leave it there. What a fire hazard. You know, that's not the idea. The idea is that it's still going away, but the dirt is going away, but the luck is staying inside the home and sort of coming to this central point in the home where it's freely accessible. Another interesting thing about broom lore in terms of cleaning and cleansing and just sort of broom lore in general is the idea that you don't want to use a broom that somebody has left behind in their home because it's associated with that resident's luck, for good or ill. And you don't need that. You don't want that. So if you find a broom already in the home, if it's wood and corn straw, you can burn it. Or if it's not, if it's plastic, you know, all the way through, then, you know, thank it for its service to that other family or that other resident, and then send it on its way to the dumpster, because you don't necessarily want to be passing that on to somebody else either. Likewise, you don't want to take a broom from one home to another if you move. So the lore thought on this is that doing so doesn't just bring your luck with you, but it also, since that's a place that you're leaving, it would be bringing that aspect of leaving and departure. It would be embedding that into your new space. The first thing that you would be doing physically and energetically with the floors, the base of your home, is to say, we're going to be leaving here soon. And you don't want to bring that in. So some people choose to carve magical inscriptions along their broom handle. And a thought that I would like to share with you is that you could do something in runes or in Theban or another alphabet that speaks to you magically, and just sort of encapsulate concepts that you want to sweep in and sweep out. Say something like, I sweep in good fortune and abundance, going from the tip of the handle down toward the bristles, and then flip it over, and on the other side, running from the bristles to the tip of the handle, you could say, I sweep out misfortune and evil. If you want to include herbs and essential oils into your practice, which I personally love doing, you can use things like rosemary, dill, sage, thyme, lemon in general, like all the citrus scents in general. And you can use the peel of those if you want something physical, or put a few drops of lemon juice into, this is me squeezing a lemon, into the water that you're using, or the vinegar that you're using to wash the windows. And then things like frankincense, copal, myrrh, these resins that are very much associated with blessing and honoring the deities and spirits, make for a very fine offering to the guardians of your home, to the gods and goddesses whom you honor there, and to your land spirits and your ancestors that are there and present with you and looking out for you. Okay, friends, that's what I've got for you this week. I hope that it was informative and inspiring. I would love to hear if you have any particular cleaning rituals, whether they are mundane and you just sort of bring that magical mindset to it, or specific cleansing rites that you do. And do you do those on a regular basis or not? You know, do you do them once a month? Do you do them once a quarter? Do you do them once a year? When are you doing it? So drop comments below and let's have that conversation. And I will see you back here next Monday at noon.